Okay, so the first one, I think we did the first one together, right? The first one centered at 0, 0. Remember, the larger number is your A. I'll just go over this again in case somebody wasn't here. I know, oh, Azure, she wasn't here, but she went to the bathroom. The larger one is the A in this case because it's an add. You can add it either way. The X doesn't have to come first or the Y because you have commutative property. So the larger one is the major one. And so you can find A by taking the square root, find B by taking the square root, and use this to find C. We're doing an ellipse. So these are our ellipses. Basic formula for ellipse goes like this. We offset it. You start like this. And then underneath, depending on who's the major, is A squared and B squared. It kind of is like a circle, but these coefficients are different. So it's not giving us a circle, it's giving us a distorted circle. So we have, we find the center. We go off of our major axis is the X, that's the larger one. We go 5 over here. We go 4 up, 4 down, and we connect. The foci fall on the major axis. Now number 2, all we did in, well, the number 9 technically, all we did in number 9 was switch that around on you. It's the same concept, just switched around. Now your Y is your elongated part of your ellipse. So Y now becomes the A. Everybody was okay with the swap in that? Y is the A squared. B squared is now the 16, the smaller one. So now your foci fall on your Y axis. That's the major axis. Okay. Questions at all? Okay. Okay. So the next one, again, your center is at 0, 0. But we kind of drew a little curve in here. 9 is larger than 5, so the square root of 9 is 3. Square root of 5 is radical 5. Radical 5 is just a little bit larger than radical 4, which is 2, right? So you're going over 2, a little bit more than 2, and 3. So you're across the x-axis. This is going to 3, here, and here. And then you're going a little bit more than 2. Here and here, but you give this with your radicals in here. Okay, and your foci are, if you use your formula, c squared equals a squared minus b squared, which gives us c squared is equal to 4, so c is equal to 2. So we're going over 2, over 2. Okay, the formulas, don't get hung up on the formulas because you still have to say to yourself, which one am I adding this to? Am I adding it to the H? Am I adding it to the K? So go by your graph instead. If you're coming horizontally, you know your X has to change. You're adding it to the H value. If you're going vertically, you know your K has to change. You're going to add it to the K value. Use the graph instead of the formulas. Okay, and stop me if you have any questions. So now, we translated your center a little bit. If it helps you, make a translated axis that goes like this, and you can count a little bit better. I always find it helpful to put the center where I could see it. I put the center there, and then I can count my parts back and forth. So my larger number is 25. That's my A squared. My 9 is my B squared. And C came out very nice in this. This is one of your triples. So, major axis is the vertical underneath the Y. That's the major. So from 1, 5, you're going up and down 5. And the Y is going to change. So if I add 5, this becomes 110. If I take 5 away, this becomes 10. Back and forth to 3. So I notice this is at 1. If I subtract 3, I'm over here. Negative 2, 5. If I add 3, I'm 4, 5. It's kind of easier to use your graph and count. Your foci sit on your major axis. That would be your y-axis. So again, your y's are going to change. If you can resolve this, don't leave it to me like this. Make sure you give it to me like this. If it's a radical, then you could leave me plus or minus radical 3 or whatever the thing happens to be. Good? Okay. Then we get to a complete the square. Was everybody able to complete the square? No? Okay, so let's complete the square. Let's get your x's together. Remember, start like this. Get your x's together, get your y's together. Put your constant on the other side. Subtract it so that we get it to the other side. Start like this first. Organize it. Now, I need my coefficient. If I'm going to complete the square, I need my coefficient to be 1. So I have to factor out the 9, just like the guys that deal with x's. So now I get x squared plus 4x and leave myself a space to complete the square. I need this coefficient to be 1. So factor out the 4, just out of the y's. Go ahead. So I'm going to factor out a 4, and I'm going to get y squared minus 6y and leave yourself a space to complete the square. You put 2 spaces there, so 2 spaces to the other side of the equal sign to make this work. Found it? Your phone?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I heard it ringing, so I'm like...
Oh, you did?
Yeah, so I guess it was her phone. It was a deep vibrator.
Oh my goodness. All right, so are we good so far? Can we get to this point? All right, so now, what's half of 4? 2. So go like this. X plus 2 squared. What's 2 squared? 4. Now it's trapped inside of here. How am I going to get it out of the parentheses?
You gotta multiply the 9 by 4.
Good. Multiply the 9 by the 4. Bring it here. Don't change anything else here. Just bring down your 9. So it's half of negative 6. Good. So we got y minus 3 squared. And what's 3 squared? 9. And again, you're going to multiply it by the 4 to get 36 and bring down this 4. So now, this is going to cancel, and I'm equal to 36. If this was a circle, these 2 coefficients would be the exact same. But they're not. So I know it's a plus, and they're different. I have an ellipse. So I'm going to divide everybody by 36 because my equation says make it equal to 1. Reduce this down, and just rewrite your equation. Okay? Are we good from here? Okay. So now, which one is the larger one? The 9. This is my a squared. This is my b squared. So my a is 3. My b is 2. Always keep track. Make yourself a little place to keep track. Find your c. C is radical 5. C, we care about the last because that's your foci. We can always figure that out at the very end too. But we need A and B to actually draw or sketch your ellipse. So we start with the center. Remember, it comes out the opposite way. Negative 2, 3. Now my major axis is my y. If it helps you, do this. So from here, we're going to go up 3. This is changing your y. So negative 2, 6, negative 2, 0. We're going to go over 2. So negative 4, 3, and 0, 3. There's my covertice. Now I can sketch my ellipse. My foci have to sit on my major axis. So because it's a radical, all I have to do is say negative 2, comma, 3 plus or minus radical 5. I can't resolve my radical 5. A and B you need to sketch. C is going to be your little foci inside of there. Good? Okay. Did we do 17 yesterday?
Yeah.
We did this one.
But you explained to us that about the fraction.
Oh, okay, so let's walk this one through. Did everybody get to here?
Actually, you
honestly,
showed us that
I
part.
only got to the part where we divide everything by 20 bucks.
So you got this far?
Yes.
Were all your pieces the same? Did everybody get that far?
Yeah.
Okay, so now, we know this is an ellipse because these two are different. So we have to set this equal to 1. So we have to divide everybody by 25. And when we divide by 25, the 25s cancel out to 1. But the 16 and 25, God bless you, the 16 and 25 don't cancel out to 1. So I've got to get that 16 out of here. So if I have a fraction 2 over 4, and I reduce this fraction to 1/2, and how did you get 1/2? Ah, so you divided this guy by 2, you divided this guy by 2. Yes.
You know how you have to multiply to get the 1 out of the parentheses?
Okay, this one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wouldn't it be x? Oh wait, never mind. Sorry.
Don't multiply down here. Just
Yeah,
this one
right.
gives you that one up there. So now, I want to get rid of the 16. So let me divide by 16, divide by 16. So I end up with this. I end up with x minus 1 squared, 25 over 16, plus y plus 1 squared over 1. Now, 25 divided by 16 is a little bit more than 1, isn't it? So this is my a squared, this is my b squared. Not a whole lot more than 1, but a little bit more than 1. So what's the square root of 25 over 16?
Radical 5 over 4.
Drop the radical. So you're going to do this. You're going to say radical 25 over radical 16. 5 over 4. Come on, this makes sense. So a is 5 over 4, b is the square root of 1. C is a little bit different. I have to do 25 over 16 minus 1. Do that in your calculator. Go back to a fraction. And can we take the square root of 9? 3, square root of 16, 4. That works. That works for me. So now, A is my major axis. It's going to be a little bit longer on my x. So my center is 1, negative 1. Keep track of this. This is my center. So across my x, that's my 5/4. So which is changing when I move horizontally, my x or my y? So far I'm going to say 1 plus or minus 5/4 comma negative 1. This is going to be my vertices. I'm going to figure this out at the end. But isn't that what I have to do? Add and subtract 5/4? My covertice says I have to change the y. So 1 comma negative 1 plus or minus 1. Okay? My foci are on my x. So again, I'm changing the x guy. So my foci are at 1 plus or minus 3/4 comma negative 1. Can't you do those in your calculator? Right. 1 plus 5/4 in your calculator. 1 minus 5/4 in your calculator. Flip them back to fractions. This one works out fine. This one is at the 0 and then at the negative 2. That one works out fine. Do it in your calc. Do this in your calc. Those you can resolve for me. Do them in your calculator. Okay, and then you'll get the right answers. Just flip them back to a fraction. I probably won't give you one with a fraction in it. I probably won't. But I need you to know how to do it. And it's no different than when you look at 2 over 4, because in your head you said divide by 2, divide by 2. So if I divide by 16, divide by 16, I'm good. I got rid of, my goal is to get rid of that 16 on top. That coefficient has to be 1. Whatever it looks like in my denominator, I'm going to take the square root of it. It may not be pretty. We okay with this one? Okay. Okay, this one, it looked weird, but you had an x squared and a y squared, so your center is at 0, 0. You know it can't be a circle because you got a 5 and a 3. If I had this, 5x squared plus 5y squared equals 15. Isn't that technically my circle? That's technically my circle. Because I could get rid of the 5, I could divide everybody by 5, and watch. There's my circle. If I look at it as an ellipse, I'm going to divide everybody by 15. And I can write this as a circle 1, too. A circle is a special kind of ellipse. Now, because those two are different, I know I have an ellipse, not a circle. So I divide by 15. My center is at 0, 0. Which number is bigger, 3 or 5? So this is my a squared, this is my b squared. I know it's going to be slightly longer on the y than the x. So the square root of 5, square root of 3, square root of 2. Square root of 5 is a little bit more than square root of 4, which is 2. The square root of 3 is somewhere between 1 and 2. Just so that you get an estimate for where to put this thing. But you can just leave them to me with your radicals in them, because there's nothing you can do with your radicals. Good?
The last one was stupid.
Word.
The last one was what?
Stupid.
Stupid.
Yeah.
I like this one.
Okay, can we complete the square okay?
Yeah, I got 16.
I got 16.
Okay, so let's complete the square. 12x squared minus 12x plus 20y squared plus 40y, and move the 37 to the other side.
Yeah, never mind.
You found it? Did you forget to multiply out?
No, like,
Instead of putting 1/2, put 1.
Oh, instead of putting this 1/2?
yeah.
Oh, okay, so half of this is 1/2, and 1/2 squared is 1/4. 1/2 times 1/2 is 1/4.
Yeah, so instead of 12, I got 3.
Right, I see. I got 3, you didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah,
got
that's
6.
That's,
You
yeah,
got 6, right?
Yeah.
That's where you came 3 more than me, probably.
Word.
Okay, so is everybody okay with that part?
Yeah.
All right, so then the rest kind of makes a little bit more sense. The larger one, the smaller one. And yeah, your vertex is at 1/2, but that's okay, you're only sketching this. Notice we don't put any tick marks on there, but I do need you to get a point of reference. Like, where do you fall in terms of the axes? Are you to the left of an axis? Are you up above it? Are you below it? I just need you to make sense that way. So I need to know that this covertice goes a little bit above that. So that's why do this in your calculator. When you're at the 1/2 and you're going to move up, where's your b? Radical 3, oh well. If you're going to do that, put in your calculator 1/2 plus radical 3. Where does that move you? You know, then you'll be able to see where you are. 1/2, -1 plus radical 3. Radical 3 is about 1.7. So it's moving you right into the positives, barely. But just so that you get that for frame of reference. See, that's not so bad, right? So now, we're going to come up with the equation. Huh?
Is this gonna be hard?
None at all. It's
Well, I gotta sit
extreme.
in front of this.
None at all, but it's very easy.
I did.
The key to this is sketching. You want to sketch everything. You want to sketch before you pen. So, I need to come up with the equation of an ellipse. It's going to look like this. It's going to look like this format. It's going to start like this, and the a squared and the b squared might change places a little bit. It's going to look like this. So now, we have an equation of an ellipse, and they give us our vertices at 0, 8, and 0, -8. So which way is my ellipse? Where's the major axis?
Why?
The y. So therefore, when I do this, I start like this. X minus h squared. Go ahead.
How do you know that?
Because your vertices fall on your major axis.
Oh, okay.
So now I know that it's going to look like this. Right? The A is my major. So A is big. It's going to be bigger. Oh, so can you tell me the center of this guy?
Yeah.
What would the center of these, how do I find the center? Remember your ellipse is going to go like this, right? And the center's at 0, 0. How did you know that? Midpoint. The average between -8 and +8 is 0. So my center is at 0, 0. I got that. And the distance from my center to my vertex is what letter? A. A. It's the major axis, right? A. So how big is A? From here to 8. So I'm going to put this over here now. I know this, and I'm going to square it. Now I don't know my B yet. Did you figure out everything we possibly could right now? We know that somehow my ellipse is going to look like this somehow. Okay, I need to find B. B is my distance over here. So, but they gave me that my foci fall at 0, 4 and 0, -4. Now my foci doesn't help me with my equation per se, but what letter does it give me out of A, B, and C? C. It's the distance from the center to my foci. How big is that? 4. So now, we have a little formula. C squared equals A squared minus B squared, so that now I can find B. Because they didn't give me any other information. So I take my C and I square it. I take my A and I square it. And I minus I need to find my B squared. So this gives me 16 equals 64. I subtract 64. 48 is equal, -48 is equal to negative B squared. So what is B squared equal to? Just divide by -1. And do I really care what B is? What is the only thing I need? B squared. Don't I need B squared?
Yeah.
So, can I take this out now and put in 48? I don't really need to find B. God bless you. It's going to be a radical that I'm going to have to square back anyway, isn't it? So now I rewrite x squared over 48 plus y squared over 64 equals 1.
Wait, I have a question.
Question.
Before you found A, how come A squared is on that side of the y? Like,
Because my vertices were on my y-axis.
okay, I got it.
So under y has to be where my a squared falls. If they gave me my co-vertices, then if that was my co-vertices on my y-axis, then the a would fall under the x, because my vertices would be on the x. Wherever your vertices are, that letter underneath it is the a squared. Not bad, right? Work with what they give you, exhaust one thing before you go on to the second thing.
That's the answer.
That's my equation. It says find an equation. So I did. Good? Okay, let's try another one. All right. I have foci at 0, 1. 0, 1 is a foci, and 4, 1 is a foci. So you can get your center. Good. So find me your center, Gabe.
It's 2, 1.
2, 1, because you took the midpoint formula, right? So Gabe said 0 plus 4 is 4 divided by 2. My center is at 2, 1. Good. Does everybody see what he did?
Yeah.
So what's my major axis, the x or the y? The X, this is going to go like this, isn't it? This is going to be where my major axis is. It's parallel to the X. It's translated. See it? So I'm going to start like this. This is my H, my K, and my H and my K. So X minus 2 squared. We know this is going to be my A squared. Plus Y minus 1 squared is my B squared equal 1. What letter do I find from my center to my foci?
1.
C. I find C. So from 2, 1, that's my center, to 4, 1, 2. Good. Okay? So I've exhausted that part, right? It gave me everything. Look at all it
Wait,
gave
what'd
me.
you do?
We said the distance from your center to your foci, this is 2, 1, this is 4, 1, or this is 0, 1, is 2. So that's my C. Okay? I'm sorry? C, you need to find A, B, and C.
Oh.
So the foci uses the C letter. It doesn't help me in my equation, but I do have a little formula. C squared equals A squared minus B squared. So if I should be able to get one more of those, then I should be good. So now, my major axis length is 6. This is my major axis. This length is going to be 6. The whole length. So what is A going to be? 3. Because don't I want from here to one endpoint? So I take this and I divide it by 2. This is my major, so this is my A. Therefore, A will be 3. The whole length of my major axis is 6. From the center to the vertex point is A. So A is 3. So my ellipse is going like this. So that gave me my A, 3. Now I just got to find my B.
So 3.
I can come, I'm sorry, I'm just going to throw that down here.
So C squared equals 4 equals 9 minus B squared.
Good. Subtract the 9. So what is B squared equal to? Do I need B? Or can I just keep B squared? Isn't that equation asking me for B squared? Because this is what happens. If you take B, square root of 5, then you come back over here and say square root of 5 squared. You just go back and square it. So you can stop at B squared. B squared is 5. So here's the equation of your ellipse. And my major axis was the X. There's my 3. There's my radical 5 for B. It's moving a little bit more than 2 up and down. I've got my center. Center is always in the middle of your foci, in the middle of your co-vertices, in the middle of your vertices. But the key to this, guys, is use one piece of information until you've exhausted it, and then go to the next piece of information. I find myself, if I put too many things on my graph at the same time, it's confusing for me because I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? Now it all looks like a part of a picture, and I'm confused. So one step at a time. Use one piece of information, your foci, gives you your center, gives you C, tells you your major axis. Then the next piece told you how big your major axis is. That's A. So now you're heading towards just having to find B, and you have a little formula for B.